Hello.
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 Welcome. Thank you for joining us on the Sunday sofa with me, Jane Morton, the lovely Polly Harnett, and the lovely Sarah Andrews. And yes, we are actually live together. What a thrill for you all. We're sort of back on the sofa in how long? 2 years?
Oh, years.
Literally.
Years and years.
I've got problems with my Wi-Fi, people, so I've come here to annoy Polly. But anyway, thank you. You haven't seen me for a couple of months. Couple of shows.
No, couple of shows. Yeah.
And do you want to introduce yourself, or should we just go straight into our topic?
I think we'll just go straight into the topic, shall we? Everyone knows
Yeah.
by now. Just before we do start, however, please can everybody at home watching share. Sharing is caring, and we want to go all the way around the world today. So please, when you say hello to us, can you please put where you're calling from or where you're watching from? It would be absolutely amazing. We all love it, don't we, Sarah, to see where you're all based.
I love it. I get very excited when I find out where people are in the world.
You're just so excited you just can't hide it.
I just can't hide it. I want to scream and shout.
Okay then. Camera up a little bit.
Right. So, Sarah,
Okie dokie.
what are we going to be talking about today?
What are we going to talk about today? What our theme is? Right, we are talking about the great divine, the universe, the energies that you communicate to in the universe, whatever phrase you want to call it. If you could ask a question to them, what would your question be? So, Polly, what would your question be?
This could get juicy, couldn't it? Right, well,
good. I hope so.
Shall we say hello?
Yeah, let's say
some hellos first, shall we? See who's there, and then we'll get cracking, and I will think of one. I haven't even thought of one yet.
You sure?
No, I've got so many, I guess.
We've had so long to think about it.
Anyway, I was thinking the same. I thought, what would I choose?
Hello,
so
Jane.
We've got Jade McQuire. Sorry, Jane, you carry on.
Yeah, hi, Jade. I'm going to go Handley. I'm going to miss because that's quite a long one. But hi, Jade.
That's a long old name.
Hi, Terry Louise.
Hi, Shelley Stewart. On YouTube.
Hello, Angela Atkins. Thank you for joining us. Oh, yes, and let me just say, people, we are streaming to Facebook and YouTube. So obviously you may not see everybody, but we can see when Mr. Producer puts them up.
Hello, Helios Andreas.
Hi, Helios.
And Paul Smith. Hello, Paul. I love the fact you come on more or less every single Sunday sofa, don't you? I love it. Good afternoon, you happy lot. Good to join you this sunny afternoon. Oh, it's fabulous to have you.
And Lewis. Hello.
Hello, lovely.
Hi, Linda Owen from North Wales.
Love it. That's the first one to say where she is. Yeah. Oh no, we had in New York, didn't we?
Yeah.
Linda Owen from North Wales. Did you just say that one? I just repeated that one.
Oh, don't worry. Hello, Paula.
Twice.
What is it? Sinead from Ireland. Thank you, Paula. Are we having a bit of a slow one?
I think we're
getting a bit of a slow reaction to some of the comments coming up, people, so bear with us. So if we go a bit quiet, we're just trying, so we're just going to have them reeled off to us who's watching, so bear with us, please.
Hello, Chloe Owens from Essex.
Debs from Edinburgh is joining us as well. Welcome.
Hi, Elizabeth from South Wales. Thank you for joining us.
Cloud Mom from Tampa, FLUS.
That'd be ma'am.
Florida.
Ma'am, Florida.
Yeah.
As I say it.
Ma'am.
Ma'am.
Ma'am. June Clark. Good afternoon, ladies. Hope you're all well.
Lovely,
We
Jean.
are, thank you.
Hello, Jennifer Lee from Oklahoma. Thank you for joining us. First time.
So thank you to everybody that is watching today. Like I said, please do share. Please do share because we care and we want to share ourselves around the world. And we just, if you don't know any, if you've only just joined us today, we are a chat show predominantly. Okay, so we are going to have a subject, and when the lovely glamorous Sarah is going to introduce our subject in a moment, the more you interact, the more likely there are to be readings. But remember, this is a chat show. We want to chat. We want to talk about your opinions, what you think, and everything else. Okay, so please do join in.
So we did actually say what we did say,
Oh, yeah,
didn't we? Sarah did say what it was.
So
We did. Oh, well, I did, yeah.
Listening, or anyone's joined in the last few minutes, it is about what question, two questions actually, we sort of decided you would ask the great divine, the universe.
Ooh.
Well, I thought we said two. We cut it down from three, didn't we?
Oh.
So some people call it source, some people call it God. There's, so we're saying what you expect to, and it's how you see the up, the people above, or the person above, the energy above,
the dove from above,
anything above.
Cool.
We're not suggesting
Don't start that
right
one.
for anyone. We're not saying what we believe is right or not. It's what you believe is up there and how you would address that if you had a question or a couple of questions, if we can squeeze it in to ask.
Okay.
Mr. P said he's got one.
That is actually a very good question. And
So Richard, Mr. Producer, has just asked, if there is a divine source, why is there so much suffering, and why do babies in particular suffer? And I think that's a question we probably all ask as psychics, as mediums, as healers. Why is there still so much upset, misery, pain, and what people have to go through? But my answer, Mr. P, because I've worked with Ascension, I believe, rightly or wrongly, we choose that path before we come. So it's hard to accept, especially when you're here. But that's what I believe. So
yeah, my belief is very much similar. Sorry, Sarah, you go first.
No, what? No, I don't want to interrupt. You carry on, and I'll join in later.
Yeah, no, I was very much of the same thinking. Now, in our family, we've got personal experience of a child that has been very, very poorly, and it's actually heartbreaking, and it has been heartbreaking for the whole family. But I am of the same thinking, and I would have been years and years before that, of the fact that we do choose our paths in our belief, and I know that there'll be people out there that don't feel the same. Okay, like, why would that happen to somebody so innocent, for example? Because they haven't experienced enough in the world to have done anything bad or horrible or evil, would they? They just haven't. And so why would they deserve it? It's like people say about good people. Why do good people always get sick? Why do good people always have a bad time? Okay. But at the same time, and this is obviously different from the children, I feel, especially if you are to be working as a light worker in some way, or a healer, or a counsellor, or a therapist, if we don't experience grief, loss, pain, it could be mental illness in the family, it could be our own mental illness, it could be all sorts of things, because we're good souls and good-hearted people, we like to give. But Jasmine Brown just said, because there has to be a balance, and unfortunately there does. But if we as therapists, for example, holistic therapists, teachers, if we haven't experienced pain, loss, or experience these awful things, then how the heck are we going to be able to empathize with anybody? Because you just can't empathize with something that you don't understand. And it is a hard one, isn't it? What do you feel on this, Sarah?
Absolutely, 100% what you've both said. Some people, like you mentioned, Polly, think about karmic ties, which is when you're reborn and you have that energy from a karmic. So not everyone has had a good life or chosen the right life, the good path, so to speak. So they have that karmic tie, so that then when they're reborn, then they have that experience of what it's like to be humble or to feel in pain, you know, especially if they've inflicted pain on other people. So yeah, that inner wisdom of experiencing all walks of life is definitely a train of thought, isn't it, of it. So yeah, I absolutely everything you both said I totally agree with. I personally believe we have many lives, and it's all in our subconscious. So that inner wisdom, like Polly you were referring to, about being able to draw on knowledge. A lot of people out there might be saying, well, I don't know if I've done this and that, but it will be in you. It will be in you. And when you're a light worker, you draw on all that knowledge. And we say all the time, don't we, to people, gosh, you're such a wise soul, and you can feel that energy that's inside them. And I think it's all those lives they've had, and it's coming to fruition in that lifetime.
Just before we read Paul's, Shelley, there was one up before that, Mr. P, that Shelley Stewart, I think her name was, put up saying, surely I didn't, there is no way I would have chose this path. I get that, Shelley, and I think, as we've just said, we have not had easy lives. We've experienced stuff ourselves, but it is hard. That's why it's hard. You think, why would I choose to go through this? I was only saying yesterday to someone, my life is like being on a Big Dipper. I'm down, I'm up, I'm down, I'm up. I have very good periods, but I come right back down again. No, we wouldn't intentionally think that we would choose it as a human, but as Sarah said about karmic ties and how we believe that we have still got stuff to learn, we choose it rightly or wrongly before we come. But again, it's quite a deep subject, isn't it, when you go into the afterlife?
It's a really deep subject, yeah.
It's hard to accept it as a human now living this life, that we would have surely chose to come and live the life we're leading. But I truly believe as well, we all do take positives from our life out. Whatever happens to us, however bad a situation we can get, we are still drawing from it, and that's about the karmic. That's about the lessons we're learning.
It is as well, and anyone that would have asked this question, for example, okay, there's some things we can't control, but there is a lot of things that we can control, and what we can control is trying to get ourselves out of that rut or get that help. And you know, unless you fight for yourself, because that's a thing that I find very strongly about, you have to fight your way out of it. Okay, and okay, yes, next week something another thing not great could happen, but it's about how you look at it, how you deal with it. And if you choose, I'm not talking about you here, Shelley, I'm talking about anyone. If you choose to be a victim, then you're always going to be a victim. If you choose to be a victor, you're going to be a victor. You're going to do that in some way, like seeing a positive or getting help. It might be you've got an addiction and you need to get help for that. In whatever way, shape or form your life is that maybe gone downhill, we are responsible for finding the help to get us back up that hill again. All right. Like I said, even if another thing happens a few weeks later, if we see ourselves as a victim, we always will be. And it's really important we know that.
So maybe just quickly, I've seen Chrissy's as well. She's saying about she believes we have to experience pain to understand it to help others, which obviously Polly's just said as well. We as readers, as healers, sometimes I have people sat with me and I actually have to blink and think, are they actually my double? Because they're almost, I'm picking up the exact of my life, and it is weird. But you're right, because we've experienced things, we can help and pick up other, help those people because we've experienced it and we understand it. But getting back to the question, because I don't want to sort of go off too far, Richard's question was a very good question. I think a lot of people ask that in general. I find it a lot in one-to-ones. I expect you both do. What other questions are out there, Mr. P, about what you would ask Source, God, universe, whoever you believe is in charge?
And while we're waiting for that, have you got a question, Sarah? What would your question be?
Yeah, I have got a question. It's a little bit similar topic of like past lives, actually. So whether we want to go down that aspect again, but my question would be connected with your soulmate, whether you have one soulmate that gets reborn, just like I believe we do, into a new life, and we always, sorry, not always, we sometimes meet up with them in the life that we are reborn into, and sometimes we don't, or whether we have multiple soulmates in the lives that we have. Does that make sense? Have I explained that very well? Probably not.
What do you think?
Can I answer that?
Yeah, go on.
So again, just going back to Ascension, because it's something I'm quite interested in.
Her and the Ascension.
Yeah, but yeah. So we have more than one soulmate. We come from a group, and on our group of 8 initially, then 16, then 24. So those people in that group will cross our paths in each lifetime.
Yeah, I'm talking romantic soulmate, and not like twin flames or anything, you know, an actual.
Necessarily romantic, but there are people I know that have met their partner when they've done regression, have met their partner backwards. When they've done regression, they've actually recognised that's their partner they're with now, and they've been in previous lives. They may not have been their partner though in previous lives, because how we intermingle as soulmates, again, it goes back to what we choose, our paths.
Yeah,
they could be your mother, your brother, your sister. It doesn't have to be your partner, your life.
So you could be actually snogging your brother,
because every time you come back, you read through. And actually, it's interesting because that leads into Paul's question. Paul believes he's chosen his earthly life, which is what I believe that we do, and he's chosen it because it's a difficult path, and which he's travelling because it is making him a stronger soul, ready for when he returns. That's what Ascension is all about. If we learn our lessons, we will keep coming back. If we've done everything we could possibly do when we finally pass over our last life, we will stay there. We won't come back, or we can choose if we want to. I do believe Paul is right. He believes he's chosen that life, and I do believe, as hard as our lives may be, or as wonderful as our lives may be, we chose that lesson, and we chose to be. We even choose the people in our life. And it is a massive.
You chose me.
But it is a massive.
Sarah and Jane.
Yeah.
Richard chose us.
Yeah, I said that, Richard. I did say I believe. That's my opinion. That's how I believe. I didn't say that's, you know. But yeah, that's just, you know. So, and then when you come across someone and feel like you've known them for ages, chances are.
Yeah.
Back in that previous life did. So.
Yeah.
But the other thing you're related there might be twin flame, because you only get one twin flame. And that's your true connection. That's your proper romantic, literally your double ganger, your DNA twin. Yeah. So that's a different thing. But soulmates, we can have many in all different forms.
Exciting.
So what was your question then?
I don't know if I've got one, because I think I might, but I don't know yet. What's yours?
So mine was a bit complex, because I love to be complex. And
it's not like you.
Because I call it source, I believe it's a source, an energy source that we all do. Thank you, Paul. I don't see it as God, and that's nothing against anyone. I don't connect to God. I see it as an energy, a source field, you know. So, but my question probably would be, if that's the case, why do so many of us have different opinions of what is truly controlling that energy, whether it's God, whether it's divine, whether it's source? That would be my question. Why do we all have our different beliefs?
What, like religions?
Not just religions, everything. Like why, like you might want to call it divine energy or the universe. I mean, we all know there's a universe. We all know that's scientifically proved. There's a universe out there.
But do you think that comes back down to like all our past lives we've had and experiences we've had and the knowledge we've got? Is we're going to apply that to the situation that we're in, and everyone's at different levels, different rates, different experiences. So possibly that could be why.
Could be, or is it a conditioning of how we're brought up in our families, or our
oh gosh,
or
absolutely.
Society? Is it a conditioning of that?
But then my mum was a complete atheist, and then I decided to go to church with my grandmother. I don't know if it's just because she didn't believe it that I felt inquisitive, and I went to sort of check it all out, you know. And I remember going to church for a bit, years ago, when my oldest son, who's now 32, I think, was about
I can't remember when she gave birth to her first child.
Yeah,
Really
somewhere
about
around there.
And so I went to and did the Alpha course at the church, right? Because I was
heard of that.
And so I thought, do you know what? But then the vicar or reverend or whatever you call them, I can't remember. He was really open because I said to him, well, what about spirit? Does he believe in the spirit world? And he said, I don't think there's nothing. And so, as in somebody that was quite a very religious man, so he was called Nick. We called him Nick the Vic. We called it to him to his face, and he liked it. Right? He was quite a cool vicar.
It's not Reverend Nick.
Sounds it?
No,
I was going to say, not
no,
me.
He's reincarnated back into Reverend
Nick the Vic. And Nick the Vic was really up, as in a good conversation. He wouldn't rule anything out. He said he had, a bit of a belief of, because of his experience. He'd also got a bit of a belief of the afterlife, etc. And I thought, do you know what? I'm cool with that because at least he's not saying no. You've got to be all God-fearing and everything else. But yeah, I know what you mean about what you just said. Really, why do we call? But then I think there's different beliefs, there's different cultures, there's everything. I mean, but if you look at religion as
it's
a whole,
the influences around you, isn't it?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Jennifer's question was a scenario that was more on it.
Yeah,
that was really good.
A saying.
Statement.
Yeah. If anyone see that.
Good.
Jasmine Brown, maybe it is upbringing and then finding your own way. Beliefs can change as you grow and go through different experiences. Absolutely, they can.
100%, 100% believe, agree with that statement.
And
definitely.
That would be your life lessons and learning your own way and learning your path. That goes back again to what you're saying. So yeah, that would have been my question if I could ask why. Because it still causes conflict as well. So is it test?
I think the one thing, without naming any, that I'd like to ask is about conspiracy theories. I think I'd like to ask.
Welcome to the X-Files.
How, for example, we're shown, for example, a very one-sided way that the media want to show us of everything. I'm not just talking about one thing. But then at the same time, you've got extremists in both sides, like extreme truth seekers or conspiracy theorists, and then you've got extreme people who are so blinkered that they don't want to see that there's anything corrupt at all in the world. And I'd like the divine spirit to show me actually what's real, what is real. Okay, I've got a good idea of what's real. I've got a good understanding of what they choose to tell me, because they do. And that's why I'm not worried about things. People are, in one respect, for example, stockpiling food, thinking it's like the Armageddon. Basically, I don't believe it is an Armageddon coming. Okay, I think there is lots of things going on, and I think that we all just have to think positively and do the best, do what we're here for. For example, we're here to teach. We're here to, we're teachers. All of us are teachers in some respect. We're all light workers, we're all therapists, we're all readers, we're here for a reason, but I'd just like to see that middle ground. I'd like to ask them to show me the middle ground. What is real? What bits are real from each side? You know what I mean? That sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'd go back to balance, isn't it? We have to go back to balance, and we have to go back to whether what we feel is comfortable, what we're happy with. If we're going around we're all different. If we're comfortable with what we do and how we work, what we believe in, as long as we're comfortable with it, it doesn't matter, because I'm still not affecting you, and I'm not affecting Sarah. Might be annoying Mr. P. Gone to sleep, I think. But there's the balance. We are all different and unique, and we're all finding our own way. Do we really need to know about the conspiracy theory? Do we really care, actually? Because as long as we're happy,
I'm interested.
I get what you mean. Because it's become such a massive thing. And it goes back to that good and evil thing, doesn't it? People throwing things in the mix to see what happens and who divides and comes out of it. Nothing changes.
But are they there to throw things in the mix for a reason? To make people question, to make people think.
Lovely Diane. But am I right in thinking?
I love this, Diane.
To me, resemble the Wheel of Fortune, like walking a big wheel. Sometimes it's rotating forwards towards our next path, and sometimes stops or rotating backwards to make us go back and relearn something.
I love this.
We took no notice or to open our eyes. That's how I see it. As a tarot reader, like Polly, we are both tarot readers. That's our little thing. That is a definite how the Wheel of Fortune is seen. Generically, it has its meanings. As a true tarot reader, we see the card for what we see it for,
and what's surrounding
it. But actually, the Wheel of Fortune is very much like that. Although it sits in the top, one of the top of the pack.
I was trying to find
one way or the other. She's looking.
Why
for
I love
Fortune.
that.
Just to show people
why I love that, Diane, is because the thought of the Wheel of Fortune and about going around and things coming and going. It just really reminds me of what I believe in about us all having a soul plan. From the moment we're conceived, we have a soul plan to achieve, which is why I think we get reborn if we don't achieve our soul plan. So for me, when we deviate off of our soul plan and we go here and we do this because our ego meets somebody, sees something, has an experience, and it leads us off the path of our soul plan, sometimes we go straight back on it after a week, after a month, after a year. Sometimes we never go back on it, which is why I then think you get reborn to have another go to achieve that soul plan, a bit like Jane was talking about. So yeah, that really reminds me of that sort of idea of you go forward, you go back, you go forward, you go back to achieve this actual soul plan that you've got for you. Love it.
Didn't know,
but also because we make our own Wheel of Fortune. So mine's a little bit more.
Absolutely.
Mine's just
and the experiences we have and the people we meet, it all has an effect.
We choose to go on that wheel, and we choose when we come off it, and that's something else that gets a little bit deep. But we actually choose when we're going to decide to go. But again, that's enough for another show. But no, Diane, totally that's a good way of talking about that and actually using that Wheel of Fortune to explain it, because that is what tarot is. That's why it's called past, present and future, because it's bringing in your past, not just this one, your present and your future.
It's
so
like, when you do a tarot spread, for example, you've got like the Celtic cross, you've got the past, you've got the present, you've got the obstacle, you've got the all round of the sort of what's happening generally, and then you've got like a outcome, and then you've got, actually, if you do it right, you've got also an alternative outcome. So you can actually, sometimes the outcomes are the same, sometimes they're totally different, and this is where you can manipulate which way you go.
And then that goes back to Sarah with the soul, I call it soul realignment, where you will come off your path. It's a given, but you will get back on it. You'll just, if you come off, you'll make it harder for you to do what you were actually here to do, but you'll always go back on it, whether you come off or not. Do you want to read that, Deb?
Yeah, so Deb's Lancaster. Can you read? Can you see it?
I can see it.
Deb's. We've got this lag, haven't we? Just like
it's going in and is that my eyesight? It's going in and out.
No, it does. It blurs in and blurs out. It's like, ooh,
okay. Read it.
Debs has said, I've heard that Earth is a form of hell, the lowest form. Would the divine / source have been presented to help create a balance to fight the negativity? Is that why people who connect to the divine source spirit are light beings, light workers? Well, yeah, it's 100% is about inducing and increasing that light and that positivity into the universe, because the more you do, the more it comes back to you. So 100%. Ladies, what's your views on that one?
Maybe on the light worker side, but I wouldn't see Earth as hell.
No, I don't. Yeah,
definitely not as hell.
Yeah,
and I don't do the hell, heaven or hell bit either.
No,
I believe more to that.
Hey girl, you're going to hell.
Yeah, I'm going to hell, but I'm not going to hell because no. I mean, it's a planet. There's loads of planets out there. Planets we don't even know about, and planets we can't even pronounce. So we're just another planet with another life form on. Hell is a little bit probably extreme for me. And again, as we've said, we might have chose this life, but it's what Polly said, it's how we choose to live it and experience it while we're here. We have the tools to change this life while we're here and cope with whatever's thrown with us. So it may be how and the fact we may be dodging or trying to work our way up a bit like a snakes and ladders board. We're going up and then we get knocked back down again. But I don't see it as a how. I see it as a learning curve. I see it as a path,
a journey.
It's a journey, like everything. But definitely, yeah, that's why people that work now in the fifth dimensional, which is most of us as light workers, we have a bit better balance when we're working. That doesn't mean when we're out of sorts ourselves and something's going on in our personal life, we don't drop back down to that sort of three-dimensional world and struggle the same way. It's only our beliefs and our connections that are making us rise our energy. We can still drop at the same. That happens, doesn't it? We're not unique. We just know how to manage it, maybe, from our beliefs.
The thing is that's just popped into my head as well, is the fact that we are like trying to do what we can. We're trying to spread the light. We're trying to help people in the best way we can. But we do know that that person also has to either listen, or they have to want to change, or they will have to want to get 5 times a week. But they're not going to be healed. They'll temporarily be healed, but they won't be healed unless they start to actually acknowledge that they need healing, or they need to speak to somebody, or they need to reach out to a professional.
And sometimes they don't do that.
No, you've got to want to be helped. We can do what we can, and somebody could pay us every single day of the week. But if they are not prepared to put the effort in themselves and maybe get more help or more assistance, or change their life. For example, if they're in a destructive relationship, but they choose to stay in that destructive relationship, they're going to continue to have problem after problem after problem after problem. And that's a person's choice as well. You know, we can't tell somebody to leave a destructive relationship. However, we can advise it, as in advise that it's not going to change. Okay, it will be the fact that you carry on in that destructive relationship, and that could be a parental relationship. It could actually be a child that's causing you problems. You know, it doesn't have to just be a love relationship.
And quite often it comes from all those experiences all through your life, and it your subconscious is 95. Some people think more than 95% of your informs your consciousness. So all of those experiences you've had, all of those people you've met, everything that is there has an effect on you. I mean, I work the chakras, and it's immense. The understanding when you actually tune in to what, Polly, you're talking about, to do with the solar plexus and your self-esteem and your self-confidence, and how everything has and all the people have affected you. And that's why patterns happen. You know, you start repeating behaviors because they're familiar to you. But that goes back, for me, back to the life lessons. That is the why you have to experience all of that, and then in your next lifetime, hopefully you will have learned enough to be able to then get past that and have another experience that is more fulfilling and more enhancing.
And also, even if we come back, we don't necessarily come back. We don't come back the same people. We don't come back. There's lots of things different about it, but there's a lesson still there we haven't learned. So the lesson's there, but in a different form. I've noticed a few comments that have gone that they've said they hope they don't come back. They don't want to come back to this. They don't want to come back as human. They don't want to come back to this life. I have picked that up in between comments flashing by. And I got pulled back to Shelley again. So I've just pulled you a card, Shelley, which is building blocks number 28, if that can be seen. If you're still on, Shelley, because I've just seen your comment, and I do feel at the moment there is a situation with you. There she is. You're saying you don't want to come back to this earth again. One thing I will say, we can't guarantee we'd even come back to this earth. You're right, there's a lot of planets out there, and we could go down a whole nother route of aliens. But with you, Shelley, at the moment, I did get pulled back to you, and I did feel when I was looking at that card that it is almost like you climb back up and you literally, the whole bricks give way. It's reminding me of Jenga a bit. You're getting somewhere and something's taking you right back down. So I do feel there's a massive struggle going on with you at the moment. what she put, but if you choose
Mr.
your
Producer,
path,
the comments have gone for me.
if you choose your path, you would choose your religion, and you wouldn't choose the wrong religion for you. You choose. Yeah, that would be, again, you choose your path, you choose your religion. We all make choices. You know, we always make choices to what we do, what we say, and what we believe in. Like, we've made a choice to work as we work, not always for everyone's cup of tea. But with you, Shelley, at the moment, I feel there's a lot going on.
Thank you.
You were picking stuff up on that because you were looking at my card, weren't you? Eh?
Yeah, I've never seen that card before. That was all it was.
But I just feel there's also getting a male and a female energy around you. There seems to be some kind of, almost feel like juggling act going on. That there's a situation between a male and a female that's causing quite a lot of upset, and I do feel you're probably caught in the middle of this situation. But in general, I just feel that you've had, and again, I'm going to be mindful we're live, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I just feel you've had a lot of knocks which has made you feel that way. But I do truly believe that you've got something positive, and there are positive times, and that's what we're on about, drawing from our positives and our good things, not, you know, sticking to the bad stuff. But I hope that makes sense to you, Shelley, because I am getting that juggling feeling between a couple at the moment.
I was picking up on, weirdly, so I'm not a doctor, or I don't diagnose anything, but it just feels like there's something about somebody that might have something like a borderline personality disorder, or somebody around you. Now, this could be a child, a sibling, somebody else, you know what I mean, partner, but there's just somebody here, I want to say male, okay, and somebody that is maybe got quite excessive behaviours or addictive behaviours. I feel worried about them, okay, and just generally worried about them. And you seem to be, please let me know if that makes sense to you, Shelley. Now, I want to say you can only do your best, okay, but somebody around you has got to sort of, let's say, either get some advice or get some sort of help, okay, and I don't mean it's you, all right. There's somebody around the situation that just is a little bit extreme in their behaviours. It's like 1 minute they can be very up, 1 minute they can be very down. I just feel like you're feeling the brunt of all this. Yes, I've been told.
Yeah. While you were talking, Polly, I had Archangel Raguel step forward for you, Shelley, and he's all about fairness and justice. And it is that he hates people being like the underdog. So it feels like Polly was saying, it feels like you're there all the time trying to do the best all the time, and this person is not making that happen very well for you. So if you invite Archangel Raguel in, if you want to work with the angels, and he'll help. He works particularly with families as well, Shelley, but he will help to like balance and make things fair and just as well, because I feel like that's really important for you at the minute.
Yeah, and if I just went back to basics on that as well, Shelley, I feel that, and we're really pleased you've tuned in, as long as with everybody else, but I do feel there's an element there that you want to believe there's good things, you want to believe in what we do, but I think there's an area still where it's made you very cynical, and that's why you're struggling. And I'm not saying you have to turn and be fully spiritual, but I think you just need to be a bit kind to yourself and accept daily things happen and look for good things. Don't look too far forward, don't overthink anything, and don't, I know this is going to sound really weird coming from a psychic medium, but don't read too much into what other psychic mediums say, not in a bad way, but sometimes we have to live our life for us, not for what other people are giving us. So I just want you to strip it back a bit, because without being rude, I feel that you're still sitting very much on the fence with this sort of work and the belief behind it. So I hope that does help you, Shelley, but I was drawn back to you, and I just want to check in also that you were okay. All right. So, have we got another question?
Do you not think Sarah looks really lovely and glamorous today?
Yeah. What, better than us? No, better than us two in our sweats.
Ah, thank you.
She looks all natural.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Make me blush now.
Yeah,
Yeah, look, curls out today.
Radiant.
Thank you.
look
Bless
radiant
you.
too.
I think I look radiant. Tired, old and radiant. Hot flash is coming. Mary Butcher, you don't understand anything unless you have been thrown in it. No, you don't. And sometimes even when you're thrown in a situation, you don't understand it, and you're going to come out the other side and still not know what's happened. We're not always here to actually understand it either, or actually learn something. That goes back to the balance. Not everybody's going to learn that. That's what we're here for. But do we have any other questions that people would like to ask?
Anything that anyone would like to... Oh, Jennifer, the loss of my 19-year-old
get all their back again.
The loss of my 19-year-old daughter. Her father, my brother, and my mother took me on a deep, long inner healing journey.
Wow, gosh.
Wow, that's a lot of people to lose as well. But Jennifer, there's lots of reasons. I mean, obviously we've talked about already why what we feel is the reason for that. But the healing journey is really, really important. You know, your journey is for a reason, weirdly, you know, it is going to be for a reason. And it could be, for example, that you help other people with grief, that you are going to be that person that people turn to, or you might go on some sort of counselling course. It just feels with you that there's all these experiences are going to help you be something to someone else. Does that make sense? You're going to be maybe somebody's confidant, and it's a really wonderful thing to be able to help somebody open up, for example. It's a really honourable thing, actually. I'll play with your cards just for a minute.
Me? Which one do you want to play with? She wants to play with my cards. No one plays.
Have you had any crystals fall off your table yet, Polly?
Jennifer, no. I'm just getting with you as well. I mean, that's such a massive loss in such a close unit as well. I'm seeing you in some support group, and it feels like at the moment it's like around your kitchen table, and just cups of tea and chatting, and like people are like sharing experiences with you. So I don't know if that makes sense, but I do feel there's something bigger to this, and that, like Polly's just said, horrendous. You know, to lose that many people so close to you, losing a child as parents. And you know, I don't bear thinking about, but something's telling me there is a path for you for that. And I feel that while you're chatting amongst friends at the moment, sharing that grief, you've got something bigger to give, because you've got something there that you can give back to people.
I keep getting a gentleman coming in, and he's got some sort of chest condition, and he keeps making me feel as well like there's problems with the esophagus as well, because it feels very acidy and quite hard to swallow with him, and there's an illness that would have taken on, when I say taken on hard, it wouldn't have just been eased into it. It's like also almost like a cancerous condition. Something's taking over with him there. Now he doesn't feel elderly, okay, by any means of the word. He keeps showing me his hair, all right, and he feels like he is losing a little bit on top, but he's trying to save a little bit, trying to salvage a bit there. And in fact, he looks a little bit like my dad, which is weird because he's just coming in. My dad's very much alive, but he's just coming in there and just showing me that he was a very caring man, a very patient man as well. I keep hearing a name like Ron or Roy that should also make sense around him, okay? And he wants you to know that he's there. Please, your grandfather. He wants you to know he's there. He's there, and he's watching over you, and he wants you to make sure that you don't give up, all right? Because I've just looked at this card there. Oh, he was in his 60s, and that says come to the edge, all right? Now, with that card, I've no idea what your interpretation of it. I do feel like you have been or felt very solitary, all right? But you've got so much love to give. And this card here, it's always got rose petals or something there, hasn't it? Yes, okay, you felt very lonely and on your own, but you're not, you know. You're one of these people that you help everybody else, but sometimes don't see. It's like, I want you to look in the mirror and actually think, do you know what? I actually really like myself. You know, I've got this skill, this lovely thing about me. You don't have to blow your own trumpet on Facebook or anything like that, but just look at yourself and think, do you know what? It has been tough, but I'm going to use these skills now. I'm going to use this experience to help me go forward. And you will, Jennifer.
So you asked me my opinion. It is like, yeah. I did get, there was a time, Jennifer, that you came very, very close, very, very close of everything that had gone around, but you did, that inner strength in you is amazing, how you pulled yourself back. So it is a card showing how much you've got, how strong you are inside despite what's going on. But I think people are thinking, oh, she's, you know, really coping with this. You are allowed to not cope with it.
Oh, you've gone all robotic on me. Hope you're not around for everyone else.
Up above. So you are being shown that. But also with Grandad, I was getting shown Becky, you know, when you chew it and spit it. It was a really weird thing. I don't know if that is Grandad or somebody, another male, but I was actually, you're talking and I'm chewing it. I felt like I wanted to spit it out. So I don't know if that's relevant to Grandad as well. That old fashioned spitting of Becky.
Okay, can I just jump in, because what Polly and you were saying about the confidence, this was totally backed up by this card. It's the last sentence on this card, successful beginnings. It's Archangel Raziel, the magician, and this is all about manifesting what you want, and the strength and the independence I've got coming through for you, Jennifer, is huge. And I do believe all of these experiences you've had has awfully unfortunately been made to make you feel stronger eventually in yourself, because this, as I say, the last sentence on that card, it says you can manifest the life you want, what you need will magically appear at successful beginnings. But it's at successful beginnings, this is the start of something for you from here on in. It really is. And it's just so gorgeous, that card, all that hope and rainbows and beautiful magic, which is what Raziel is all about, manifestation. So embrace that, because it really is you've put, yes, it's my time to shine. I have lots of support from the other side, getting my bachelor's in science and psychology to help others. Well done, you. Definitely, there you go, your new beginnings. Fabulous. Well done.
Brilliant.
Yeah, very good, Jennifer.
Chrissy Wheatley, I have been through so much heartbreak and pain after losing people that I was meant to go through all this pain for a reason, and I believe life can only get better, and I make this world a better place just by being here. That's brilliant. Love your quote.
And that is the way to turn it around. So Chrissy, still on, what question would you ask the divine source or God or whatever you want to call above? Because that's the question. We all go through so much and we all deal with so much. So the question is relevant to you and only you, and it's personal to us. So if there's anyone out there that has that question or has got an answer to our question, let us know. Mr. P, what have we got? And hello to anyone that's joined us. Sorry that we haven't seen your names come up, but Facebook's having a little bit of a moment.
Yeah.
But make sure you still share if we're not even saying hello. We're saying hello in a big collective.
We love you all.
Joanne Lewis, I would ask, will there ever be peace and benevolence on earth?
Probably not.
No, Joanne.
Unfortunately.
No.
What do you think,
Yeah,
Sarah?
not in total. No, I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, who am I to answer that question? But yeah, I can't. I certainly have massive hope, and you know, that things will go full circle on certain things, because the materialisticness of the human world it has got to stop at some point, and I don't know what that point is, and I don't know how far down the road obviously that will be. But yeah, I personally can't see that it's ever going to be total, but yeah, we have to live in hope, don't we? And we certainly have to put those positive energies out there, that more people will ditch the materialistic side and embrace the communities around them, supporting each other, you know, not the greedy aspects of the materialisticness, but actually the support humanistic aspects of the world, and then that will naturally bring peace to everybody, won't it? What's your thoughts, ladies?
Yeah, I was thinking, if all the time there's religion, all the time that there's world leaders, all the time that there's these things, right, and money, greed, power, all the time there is always
ego,
going to be an ego, and everything, and I can't say benevolence.
Benevolence.
That word.
Benevolence.
Yeah, benevolence.
Even I can say that.
Benevolence.
Didn't I do well? You said the word. I said a word.
Yeah, all the well, that there's all these things. Then of course there is going to be wars and manipulated wars, and so said so and so, rah rah rah, all the time, that people keep getting, I'm sorry about this, but hurt about everything that's ever said about them. There's going to be personal wars. I don't really get butt hurt. I just say bye-bye to somebody and then walk away. And then that's me. By peace, that's my little thing.
But the other thing is, look at what your version of peace is, because if we went back in history, there has always been some kind of war. There has always been somebody doing something that isn't kind to others. So in our earthly beings on earth, we have never had peace for centuries. So why would we assume we are going to have it now? In a way, we do come full circle on what goes on, that something sort of stops and it starts. In the wars over the years that have ended, but another war started somewhere else. But the question would be as well, Joanne, it might not be just our planet that has this. Other planets could also be having similar turmoils and doing things going if life exists on other planets.
And other planets could be working in a parallel to us, in which case we would be getting like a bit like weather, the backlash.
So it's a lovely thought that we would have peace.
However, what something you said, Sarah, about community, I feel that there's many people that are looking now. I know there's many people because I'm seeing them all over Facebook that are looking for land, that are looking for this, starting their own communities, trying to go off grid, and I don't blame them. I would as well.
No,
but if you look, for example, that
you wouldn't have Wi-Fi.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't. I mean, you could, yes, but you know, there's lots of ways you could do it. However, you look at the laws in England, there's very little land that you can actually put, like, for example, temporary homes on, or like, you know, caravans, or keep them there long term.
Well, you don't own your land. Even if you've got land, you don't own it. And that goes again back to years and centuries back of landowners back in medieval days as well. So nothing's changed. I think
again it goes back to control, doesn't it?
Yeah. But people are, it does also go back to that ego and that materialistic. We get more and more green, we want more and more things, we want more and more technology, we want more this, more that, and then something hits us hard and we can't have it. And suddenly there's a food crisis or an energy crisis. But these things have happened for centuries and they come out of it, and it'll be another way. So, you know, nothing's really changed. We've just increased our greed of what we want. And
I think if we can just all encourage each other to be as kind as possible in any which way, shape or form and possible way that means, then things will improve. They will. You know, you hear about all these lovely stories, don't you, of people that if one that's just sprung to mind, which is a really random thing, you know, when somebody has paid for the person behind in the lineup of like a fast food place, which I can't advertise, but a fast food place, and they've paid for the, you know, people behind just because they want to. And little acts of kindness, you know, like that is just, it means the world to people. Giving each other, you know, lovely compliments like you did, Polly, earlier. For me, just being kind to each other, it's it just spreads the love.
I love the fact, like what you just said about somebody who's doing something, because you might have, you know, an elderly person that hasn't got enough money or scrapping around for it, or you could literally be buying a homeless person some food. However, what I really don't like is somebody filming themselves do it and putting it on Facebook. Because if they do that, I'm like, that's
it's like that. Yeah, when they film anything, look at what's going on here, and you think, well, why aren't you helping them? That's totally not what I mean.
So Joanne's answered her own question. Joanne says the answer I got is there is a form of peace and but no, I can't say it, benevolence on earth, as we would not be aware of it from one person has peace within, so can everyone. So just like the vibration one gives off can change. But that's what I was going to get at, Joanne. Our peace is in ourselves. As long as we're at peace, as long as we're happy with what we're doing, how we're conducting ourselves, how we act to others, and that our beliefs or whatever our actions are not harming others and are not hurting anyone around us, then that is peace in itself. Everyone's version of that will be different, and everyone's opinion of things will be different, and that makes us unique for being here. And I think that is the only answer to peace, that we are all kind and peaceful in ourselves.
Can I just read this one, because I am going to throw a little bit of a clanger in your works, June, or June. If we all lived off grid, we would have peace. We will have peace. All the war is about natural resources. Right, I'm going to slightly disagree, right? Go back to Lord of the Flies, right? For example, in a way, right? Not in the whole story, for example. But we get Mr. or Mrs. Strong that is going to want to be the leader. You're always going to get somebody that wants to be in charge of this, or in charge of this, or in charge of this, right? Now, it's all very well having, like, I mean, I totally, like I said, I'd quite happily live off grid in a massive field, but with the people I choose to, you know what I mean? The people I know that would tolerate me and I could tolerate them. I know I'd want to only live in that sort of, let's say, community with the people, like long term, forever. If we all, like, maybe had jobs that were assigned, we were in, maybe you're in charge of cooking, or you're in charge of this, or you're in charge of doing the allotment, because I would not be any use growing anything, right, for example. So you've all got something to bring to the table, you know. Maybe you could sort it like there was maybe somebody else in charge.
But that's the thing. Someone somewhere along that line would have to say,
sorry, was I playing footsie with you?
You'd have to do this job, you'd have to do that job, and then we rotate around. There's always going to be somebody. This producer reckons it'd be. But it is. I mean, I know. In fact, I'm a very strong-willed person. I know my own mind. Anyone that runs their own business is somebody that's knows their mind. So even working back in the workforce, I mean, I'm obviously doing that at the moment for the NHS. Two totally different stuff. How bad's that? But it is hard. It's hard to be that person and this person I am, because there's always going to be somebody in charge of something. And I think, as lovely as the idea of living off grid, yes, definitely grow your own veg, find other ways of natural sourcing, heating, lighting, whatever else, but we have to be realistic. If you didn't have someone actually taking control and making some kind of decisions, it would go, I think it would go to pot.
You're going to say it's up then.
It would go to pot.
Yeah.
A bit like Richard's question, but yeah. So, you know, and then there'll be a power struggle, and then that's why we continue round and round in a circle, because then someone else won't like what the other person's doing, and they will form a little vigilante group, or what is it? When they're, you know, mutiny group to try and overturn it. And that is what humans do, rightly or wrongly. That's always happened. So lovely idea, but
I just like to live off grid with nice neighbours that were off grid also, and I can do my own thing.
Well, someone that just dropped my shopping off at the gate that was 6 miles down the road.
Yeah.
When we were farmers, we had our work and food right outside the door. Yeah, I've just said that. Yeah, see, we're on the same wavelength. I mean, I think we need to go back to basics. I think we've got to stop being greedy. We've got to try and buy where, you know, support local businesses. Stop going. I mean, I can't say stop going to supermarkets, because we all use them. There's a reason we all use them. There's lots of things we can change individually, but we can't force people to do it. That goes back to conspiracies and stuff like that again. And it goes back to balance. We do what is right for us. No one should judge us. Yeah, I mean, we had a conversation.
That's the key thing, isn't it? Not judging others and not letting other people judge you, and not feeling that you need to conform if it doesn't feel right for you. It's you know, and being kind at all times.
About self checkouts, I love them, and I don't care. I love them. And the reason
I hate them.
If I've only got 2 or 3 items, because I'm going to go to a self checkout. I don't want to queue at the till. I've got too much going on. What I don't love is being stopped to check my receipt. Normally I press no on purpose anyway, so there is no receipt to check. If you let me do it myself, then I'm going out myself. I don't knock people that are doing it. And I don't truly believe they've taken people's jobs away. Our lifestyles have done that. We have become needier and things like that. So you've got to take, and I live in peace with that. I'm quite happy I use it. I don't care who's upset I use it. I use it. But you don't like them, do you? She hates them.
I hate them. I do feel
I
like
hate them.
Away. And I do hate it when the blimmin' things go wrong, right? And it's saying,
they're not quicker. They're not quicker.
And you're like, I have put my item in the bagging area, and then I end up saying rude words, and then everyone looks at me, and then it's singles me out.
I'm with you, Polly. 100%.
Mr. P, do you love him or hate him?
I think Mr. P likes them.
I think he likes them. He's like me. We don't want to stand around talking.
He's not saying anything.
Do we, Richard? We want to get our shot.
Can everyone hear this?
He's saying about how much.
Can everyone hear him? I went, no, they can't hear him.
Good job. He was saying about how people in front take too long in the checkout, so he prefers them so he can just get in, get out, because people like chatting at the checkout. But Mr. P, you have to remember, some people haven't got much around them people-wise, and that's their only time to have a bit of a chat. But I am also with you, because that's why he uses the self-checkouts.
And that's what it all goes back to, you know. We judge for anything. If, you know, we're here, we do our own little thing, we're happy with that, we should be happy with that, and there's our own piece.
Yeah.
Christina, lots of indigenous tribes live very happily and have structure and orders to keep peace. There are thousands of communities that do that, but they deal with those.
Oh, I love this.
They deal with those somebodies. What's that?
They deal with those somebodies.
The people that go to this, cool ones.
I love this because the nub of this, Christina, for me, of what you've just said is respect, because I think the lack of communities and the lack of respect is one of our downfalls as a human nation at the moment. There is no sense of respect for people, which comes down to kindness and not being judgmental, etc. And what you've just said there about the tribes living happily is because they have that structure, because they respect each other's role, and they respect that everyone has got strengths and some people are better at doing things than others, which is what respect is all about. And I'm quite passionate about this subject, about respect, because I just don't think there's enough of it in general.
I mean, I do get it, and I do get it works, but who says the elders are right? See, I don't think I'd fit in anywhere. I've got to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm an oddball. I mean, I'm totally back with respect. I think respect has gone out the window, and I think I watch it daily and think, well, why are people not?
Well, the thing
is,
after what's happened with certain government leaders, not, saying go do this, and the people around them go do this, and then them doing the opposite, you do lose respect. So we have lost respect for our, let's say, leader. And that's quite
I'm trying to bring it down, not to the leaders of the country. I'm talking about on a general day-to-day basis.
I'd have to be the elder. There's the egotistic. Now, I don't know. I just I always question. Richard and me have this conversation, don't we, Richard? I question. Who says it's right? Who says it's wrong?
Yeah, but then a good elder that's in charge.
Yeah.
A good elder that's in charge would be happy to discuss and use their inner wisdom to discuss things. They're not just going to dictate. They're not just going to say this and that. I don't think.
Who put them in the first place? Did they vote them in? Was it a democratic?
Was it a load of rubbish?
Yeah. Or was it?
Oh, dear.
Woohoo! Okay then. Do adverts, Mr. P.
Spiritual Psychics TV is hosting our annual recognition of achievements, acknowledging those who dedicate their lives through spiritual acts of kindness. Candidates can register and put themselves forward to be acknowledged. Viewers can also nominate who they feel should be recognized for an achievement. Exclusively broadcasted live on SPTV, with 100% of the public votes being announced, on Saturday the 27th of May from 7:30 p.m. For more information please visit awards.spiritualpsychicstv.online. Spiritual Psychics TV, bringing spiritual people together. Tomorrow morning from 11 a.m., our magazine show Brighten Your Day offers readings, guests, gossip and more. Start your day with SPTV. Matt and Kirsty host their show tomorrow from 8 p.m. The show consists of answering your spiritual questions and offering free mediumship and oracle card readings.
Hello. Hi. I was going to say hi then. I do that all the time when I'm talking on my lives. I go, hi, afternoon, good day. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, we're back. I hope you enjoyed those adverts. I would just like to say to you, I've got a new group starting up on the first Monday of every month, starting on the 6th of March, called Angel Haven. It's a local group. It's going to be in Waterlooville. So if you'd like to come along, I will be, we're going to have a lovely chat to start off with, and then we're going to connect to the universe, to the angels, and send out lots of love, positivity, kindness out there to our families, to our communities, to the universe, and then I'll be guiding you in a meditation to connect with the angels. So if you feel drawn to come along, I would love to see you. It's at Springwood Community Centre, but if you go onto my page, Angela Whispers 26, you will find details about it on there. Sharon, you're all beautiful. Thank you, Sharon. You're beautiful too.
Sorry, I was smiling away. My stomach was really making a very strange rumble, and James looked at me like, what was that? It was my stomach. It was nothing else.
Next time, my Wi-Fi's working.
Martine. Go on.
Share authentic kindness and nurture outwards daily. Did today again freely and abundantly to many, love and light.
Beautiful.
Very
beautiful. Well done. If everybody did that, wouldn't the world be a better place?
Oh, it would. Hello, beautiful souls. You're new here. Hi, Rebecca Woodley. How are you?
Oh, welcome.
What's that for? Yeah. She just pulled me a card, and guess what it says? Why?
Go down a bit, Polly. What is this? What is it? I can't see it.
Why?
What is why?
Why? Just why? Why am I even here?
Why do I exist?
James,
Have we
beautiful
got
lady.
any
Thanks, James.
Thanks, James. We like you.
I've always done it. I've always said thanks.
Come.
How are you two
Sorry, I've
been?
been reading my why
Get with the schedule. Not that we ever have a
She's
schedule.
thinking more
It's
about a
just
why card.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know. So I just said, pull her that card, and she went, why?
Why?
I don't know why.
We don't know why.
Do we have
just
any
go
more
with it.
comments, Mr. Producer? Any more questions that anyone's put on?
I like these.
He's having a look. What cards you got, Jane?
So
Don't forget, our theme is if you have a question that you'd like to direct to the divine, to God, however you want to phrase the energy of the universe, what question would you ask? Chrissy Wheatley, why can't we all live in perfect harmony and be kind to everyone, or am I expecting too much? No, but like we were saying about harmony for you is different to harmony in someone else. So it is about that understanding that everyone's different, isn't it? And just being kind, like you said. It goes an awful long way, you know. And if somebody looks nice, like James did, you know, tell them. It makes their day. It absolutely does. And the focusing on the positives, not on the negatives when something goes wrong. Focusing on, you know, the positives that are also around you in that day, rather than just that one thing that's or possibly more than one, but the things that are going wrong for you. Chrissy, when
I need a
I'm
doctor.
talking for you as well. What was that?
Sorry, my belly's doing it again. It's going.
Is there a doctor in the house?
Chrissy, I keep getting the colour purple through for you, so that is either going to be drawing me to your crown chakra, and I don't know whether you've got some things coming through for you, some energies coming through for you that you need to be aware of that could be coming through, or it could be that there's kind of like I can't quite pick up whether there's a block there or whether it feels like more that you've got lots of stuff coming through. That's what it's feeling for me. So yeah, just be aware, Chrissy, because you might have some sort of like downloads coming your way shortly, which would be lovely.
We got fork in the road. So if you say that a little bit wrong, it does sound like it.
Are they going to go off on one now?
My teacher will touch my cards.
So anyway, fork in the road, being serious now. You just said, Sarah, there could be like a bit of a decision to make. There could be like a situation that you're sort of not knowing which way to go or which way to turn. I want to say that go with the one that, right, you can go with your head and you can go with your heart, right? I want you to go with your head on this one, right? Sometimes you have to go with your heart, but I want to say go with your head. What's your head telling you, all right? And especially if you've got influences around you, like people trying to sort of, let's say, pull you one way and then somebody trying to pull you another. Sometimes we don't want to hurt, upset, or be in that situation. It's fine to say no to people. I just want to say, Chrissy, and if this doesn't make sense now, it will. If you don't want to go in a direction or do what somebody wants you to do, then just say it, okay? I do feel like this is coming up, actually. I'm going to be honest, Chrissy.
Sorry, Polly, to interrupt you. Look at the card I just pulled for Chrissy. Trust your own understanding.
Yeah,
love it. Absolutely.
Yes, totally. So just use your head, not your heart. I mean, you've got to think about the logistics of a matter. Think about, do you really want to be doing something that you're being almost, let's say, I want to say dumped on you a little bit, all right? So just bear that in mind if it doesn't make sense yet.
And reveal the real you, Chrissy. I don't think you're fully not being honest to yourself is not quite what I mean, but you're not fully acknowledging what it is that's right for you. I can't quite find the right word today, but it's like reveal to yourself what it is you want. Definitely trust your own understanding.
Absolutely.
Okay. Loving those cards, didn't you?
Fork in the road. I need them in my life. You know when you just see a pattern,
you've gone all roboty again.
I can connect with those babies.
Connect.
I feel like I'm connected.
I feel like we're connecting. Siobhan, do you believe your thoughts can influence your reality?
Yes.
100%.
Yes. Definitely.
I say yes.
Definitely, if it's negative thoughts.
So like plan, if you're not supposed to win the lottery, then you won't win the lottery. However, if you met a beautiful woman or a man, obviously depending on which way you go, okay, what attracts you, sometimes you won the lottery in a whole different way, right? I just think of Sarah in this as well, because Sarah, you've got a lovely van, haven't you? I know I have also, but you're
the best.
Your story is so, I feel, romantic. And so, for example, you know, you might not ever be rich in money, but you've won the lottery within your relationship.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, totally. Love that.
There you go. So, it's not all about money, Richard. What's up with you? We'd be on the big screen. With proper makeup and hair artists, which you can see we haven't got. But yeah, definitely. And I think that's why some people. What makeup?
I wish we could
Oh,
hear what
no.
Mr. Producer is saying.
Yeah, people do vision boards, and one of the reasons people do vision boards is because they will put on in the middle what they really want and work around it, and that again is another way of influencing yourself. It's visually looking at something that you want and believe in, and a lot of celebrities have wrote about that and have done that. Yes, they have obviously made money, but definitely our thought process can be very damaging. It can affect us one way or the other, which is why we've got to try and stay positive and come out of situations with those lessons and stay, and take that with us, however hard it is, because our mindset.
Yes, Siobhan, it is the same as manifesting. Yes, but focusing on what you want and putting it in the now, not the future.
Yeah, and you've got to remember that you're also manifesting if you are in victim mode.
Yeah.
You're also manifesting if you're seeing the worst in everything, if you're seeing the cup half empty. You're manifesting your thoughts, all right? And all the time you're manifesting negative thoughts, you are only going to attract negative. All the time you are going on the more positive thoughts, okay, yeah, negative things might happen, right? But you can bat them off, if you like. Yeah. Okay, you've got the strength to bat them off because you think, actually, okay, yeah, that is a problem at this moment. Is it going to be a problem for the rest of my life? Probably not. All right. It's like a temporary blip, let's say. And if you think of it as a temporary blip, that's what it will be.
It's a bit like going for a job interview. That's what I used to say to people. If you walk into an interview, even before you get there, saying, I'm not going to get a job, I'm not going to get a job. And then you go and see other people waiting for the job and you straight away go, oh, I'm definitely not going to get it now. And then you go and sit in the interview and go, I'm not going to get it. Well, you're not going to get it, because from the time you left the house, you convinced yourself you weren't worthy of that job. So you manifested that negativity. But if you go and go, no, I can do this, even if you don't get the job, because this is where Mr. Producer would laugh, because there's a reason that job probably didn't happen, because something else will come up, but your mindset would be still more positive, and then you'll look back and go, yeah, actually I didn't want that job, I wanted this job. So we've got to stop being negative or doing that, I really want this, or I really like this, but every time you put the word but in a sentence, you've manifested negativity. So it's just about how we address things and our mindset.
I keep hearing the name Sean.
Absolutely.
I got Sean with that.
Yeah, I keep hearing the name Sean
and
in
I
my
want
head.
to spell it S-E-A-N.
Okay. Does the name Sean make sense to you? And I just keep getting, and I hope this will make some sense somewhere. Okay, there's quite a little man that's coming in, and he is definitely, I've got to say, of Irish descent. And he's, because I keep hearing like an Irish accent, but he's quite he likes a little drink, all right, I can't lie about that. Okay, and what?
I do know a little Sean of Irish descent.
No, oh really? Yeah. See if this makes sense to Siobhan though, because this man would not necessarily the name Sean with this gentleman, but there's a link to the name Sean, and this man. He definitely likes to drink, but I keep seeing it looks like either a very strong rum or a very strong whiskey. Okay, and he would be like having it neat as well. All right, not with water or not with anything else. He's a bit, when I say he says it how it is, all right, he doesn't hold it. He definitely doesn't hold it in. All right, he just wants to say that he's there for you. Okay, you might have to do a little bit of homework on it though. Okay, there's also a name like James or Jim as well with him, and he's talking about have you been talking about moving house, Siobhan? Because he keeps talking about a house move. Sean is Irish for John. Oh
yeah, it is. Yeah,
is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I never knew that.
If the name Sean doesn't make sense, I hope this gentleman does that comes in. Okay, if not, you're going to have to do a little bit of homework on your, maybe, what's it called, DNA.
Do you know a John then, Siobhan? Because I mean, I knew that because my first husband was called Sean, and and his middle name's John, and we used to take him and call him John. But yeah, so the fact that she picked up on that, I wondered if she actually knows a John.
Anyway, this gentleman is up there, no house move. There's going to be something about either house renovations or house moves. This is going to be around yourself or your family members, all right? Because he keeps showing, it feels like I'm packing things up and sorting things out, all right, around a move. I can't take it away. It's definitely for you.
Take it with you, Siobhan, because the fact we've both picked up on the name Sean, we're quite good like that when we work together. That's why we're together, not apart. And that something might happen a little bit down the line and then it fall into place. But yeah,
there's horses as well with this gentleman that's coming through. So there's either horses, they look more like gypsy horses, like brown, white, or piebald, skewbald horses. All right. And John is an uncle. Or just have a look and, like I said, go back in time, ask some relatives. But yeah, this was quite a character. This one. Quite a character, likes the pub.
Okay. What else have we got out there, Mr. Producer?
Oh, Margaret Bennett, my lovely Margaret. Why do I feel other people's moods at work and let it affect me, please? Oh yeah, it's because you're an empath. Okay, so you have to protect yourself. Why do I feel other people's moods, good and bad? Don't like the bad. It upsets me, makes me angry. Why? Because you're allowing it in, sweetie. So you have to protect yourself. If you're a natural empath, you are going to pick up on people's moods. You absorb them. So you just have to try and make sure that doesn't happen by protecting yourself. Archangel Michael, you can ask him to wrap his cloak of protection around you, and he will do to protect you. But literally ground yourself, okay? Make sure that when you do pick up on someone's moods, you know, shaking it off as well. And I know it makes people laugh as they shake it off, but just get rid of that energy. And yes, shake it off and get that energy back to Mother Earth where it needs to go.
I always say, Margaret, it's like going shopping in a supermarkets, but you're walking along your trolley and you're putting things in. You wouldn't put anything in your trolley that was not good for you, but we all do.
No,
actually.
we do.
Yeah, we do. But you wouldn't put anything in out of somebody else's trolley, and you wouldn't put anything in you didn't like. So you've got to try and tell yourself, to, like Sarah said, it's an empathic sign that when someone's picking up on people's energies. Clairvoyantly, it means you're more sensory, so you're picking up that feeling sensation. You've just got to try and keep yourself out of the zone. When you're aware of it, there are techniques you can do that don't even have to be spiritually. There are techniques you can do to try and keep other people's emotions and moods away from you. It takes a little bit of practice, but the fact you need to do, even breathing, just a bit of a breathing exercise to try and sort of let it out would help. It is quite basic to do. I mean, I work in a hospital. It's obviously quite a sad place to be. With the job I do here and in my own business, it is very hard. But I go in and protect myself to know that when I'm working in the hospital, I don't pick up anyone's energies and ailments or what's happening, because I have to be in that daytime job. So it takes practice, but that is what you're doing. I mean, as healers, we all work as healers. It's something that we would have done on quite a regular basis until we realised why we were picking up people's energies. And I can even sense when someone's going to really upset. Got to try and learn how to manage it, because unfortunately it isn't something that goes away. You just learn how to manage it and keep it at a distance.
You have to deal with it.
I pulled a card for you, Margaret. We've got happy, unbelievably. Okay. The thing is, you are a very happy person, Margaret, and I just feel like you are, like they said, letting these people get to you. Now, I used to have, I'm going to do a little story, okay? I used to work in a school, and there was a lady that was working in the school, and she worked in a different sort of area department, and so I said hello to her from the first day I worked there every day, right? And she grunted at me so many times, right? Sort of went, yeah, it's, I don't know, you know, that sort of thing. If I had to go down to the other department to get some Pritt sticks, for example, it would seem to be an issue. And so every day I said, oh, hello, hello, hello. And I didn't stop saying hello, right? And then one day I ended up, because I was asked to do work in the other department, and I said, yeah, all right. And after a week, we were like really good friends. But I don't know what it was. I just don't know if she wasn't very trusting. I don't know if, you know, there was all sorts of reasons why something could happen. And there was a lot to her life, and it wasn't necessarily all good. But I didn't know. Carried on being like positive, thinking we're going to work in the same place together. Okay, you might not like me, you know what I mean? Not everyone's going to like me. I don't know why, but you know, imagine. Probably because I will say it how it is in a very kind way.
No, not like me.
But you know, your positivity is going to have an effect on people that aren't positive. So keep being positive. Don't let it drag you down. And think at the same time, as much as you could be happy, you know, their problems aren't your problems, all right? And you have to remember that. You shouldn't be sucking them up and taking them home with you, all right? And you've got to be compassionate, of course, listen if they want you to listen, have an opinion, but just don't let it suck you dry, all right? Lift up your spirits. Go in there with a really, really high energy and spirit, and it will make a difference.
Can I just say as well, though, Margaret, that's Polly's talking, my throat was going. I do feel that on some occasions you are perfectly within your right to speak your mind and say things that you need to say as well. We don't always have to be unkind, but sometimes we do need to speak to clear the air, or because some people do it without realizing it. And if you actually just say, oh, you know, in a kind way, they might stop doing that. Because I just feel I want to clear your throat a bit and get you to be honest when you have to say something, but at the same time practice keeping them at arm's length with their feelings. But don't be scared to speak out when you have to, as long as it's
Margaret, there's a card for you, sweetie. Make a wish. Gorgeous card. I'm just moving it around like that so you can see it. Make a wish. There's like some new beginnings coming for you. So just make a wish, whatever it is that you're wanting. Make a wish. Gorgeous card, Margaret. I love it. Your solar plexus is really important because that yellow is really shouting at me. So yeah, so that would make sense of what Polly was saying. Keep remaining to be your beautiful self and shine out all your beautifulness. Don't allow it to affect you. Definitely.
Definitely.
That helps, Margaret.
So, have we got any other, or are we? We're done, did.
Be in the back.
Oh, you've gone all robot again.
We're done.
I can't hear him. He says he muted himself.
I don't know. Oh, we've got poor connection at the moment.
Yeah, we are done, ladies.
But yeah, we're at the end of another wonderful show. And so I hope everybody enjoyed the show, and are going to come back in 2 weeks' time at 4 o'clock on Sunday and what that date is, and join us all over again.
Thank you very much, and take care. Bye.
Bye.